Hi, my name's Lisa. I'm here today with Robert Senter, the aspiring author of a book called A Specific Destiny. And I'm here to talk to Robert about the book today. Hi, Robert. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you.
Robert, while I was reading this book, I had to stop and laugh. I laughed so hard that tears came down my eyes. And I found it funny, but overall the book has a serious tone. It's a great story. Why did you decide to write it? And who's the real Joe in the book?
I decided to write it because I had previously read 3 other books by famous authors, and I was somewhat disappointed in all 3 of them. I thought that I could write a better book, and I believe that I have. Joe is a fictional character whose story is based partly on my life and my real life experiences when I was overseas in the military.
Well, like I said, it was a very funny book. Give me one example of something comical that happened to Joe.
One morning, Joe was coming downstairs to get a cup of coffee, and his house was at the edge of the rice fields where it had a beautiful view. When you threw open the wooden shutters, you could see all the way back to the mountains over the rice fields. It was a myriad of colors. It was just beautiful. And he thought about having coffee and looking out over the sunrise, and when he opened up the shutters, there was the most hideous face in the window. It filled up the window completely. Had long ears, a real long hairy snout, long eyebrows, and looked like the devil itself. Scared Joe so bad that he fell back up against the wall, and he grabbed his heart, and it took him a while to get over that experience.
Well, in the book you talk about Joe going into the military voluntarily during the Vietnam era, partly due to the relatives in his family who had preceded him in the military and had been honorable and gone through war. How did that turn out for you?
Well, Joe, I imagined, was a young man who, like every young man, wants adventure in his life, and I believe that I gave him enough adventure to satisfy him. The experiences, partly based on my own life, will actually affect me for the rest of my life, and so it has, and in a positive way.
Well, in the book, Joe had numerous near-death experiences. Which one was the most frightening for Joe?
I remember Joe was going from the nearest city that they were near to back to his base, and during that time he was on a truck that was full of civilians, Oriental people, and he was the only GI, completely unarmed, and the truck was surrounded by the enemy unexpectedly, and the people kept signaling him to hide under their feet, and he didn't know what was really going on, but he did it anyway. He realized too late that that was the enemy surrounding the truck, and the fact that these people hid him probably saved his life. It was a very scary experience, I guarantee you.
Well, thinking of Yom, the young girl that was the girlfriend for Joe in Thailand, they had so many good times together. In fact, in one of the excerpt, it said that Joe and Yom went to bed laughing almost every night. So they did have a great relationship. Why didn't Joe bring her back to the United States?
Yom was a very beautiful and natural creature of her environment. Her environment was very natural. I believe that to take her out of a natural environment would have been a sin. She belonged there. She'd lived there all her life. She belonged there, and I don't think she would have been happy anywhere else.
Well, that's a good point. I remember in the book, Joe once was forced into hand-to-hand combat, even though at heart he was a pacifist. But he found the strength and will to survive during that moment when he was forced into it. What does this experience represent?
Oh, that's a hard one. It represents the challenge of every young man to whether he would meet up to the life and death experience of combat. he wondered if he has what it takes to survive. As a man, I found out that this question is totally not necessary, and the idea really sickens me that it ever came to be. And I would hope that other young men would learn from my experiences and not put themselves in that situation.
Well, I have to say that the book was great, and one of the things that was a question in the book that I'd like to ask you is the character Joe says in the beginning that you can never truly attain happiness, only contentment, and that happiness is fleeting, but contentment is enduring. How about you, Robert? Do you feel that you've attained happiness in your life?
I've had many moments of happiness in my life, but that statement is really true. Contentment is more enduring, and I believe that I have found contentment and peace as a result of the many different experiences that I've had.
Well, I have to say some crazy stories were in that book, and it's almost unbelievable stories, and funny and serious. So many that I can't go into it now, but I wanted to ask you, are all the crazy stories true, or any of them just imaginary stories? Did you make them up, or were they true?
The stories are a combination of my own experiences and the experiences of men that I've served with. I put them all together and made them Joe.
Well, so many things happened to Joe that could have resulted in his death. Just wondered why you spared him.
Nobody really wants to see a hero die.
There you have it, folks. Robert Senter, the author of A Specific Destiny. It's now available in electronic form on Amazon.com for your Kindle.
And through blurb.com for paperback.
Thank you. Order it today. It's a great book, and I encourage you to get your own copy. Thank you so much, Robert.
My
pleasure.
pleasure.
It was nice to have you
Thank
here
you.
today.